how to avoid chop. In today's video, I'm going to give you the 3 steps to ensure that you can avoid the choppy price action and ensure that you do not give too many profits back to the market in these choppy price action ranges and etc. So in today's video, these 3 steps listed right here. We're going to start off by identifying areas where chop could potentially happen. Some examples are simply resistance and support levels, as well as fib levels. I will be going over that in depth here shortly. The second one is identifying a trend, and then you'll want to observe how price reacts to those trends when it tests it and so on. And then the third one is simply observing volume and liquidity levels, and also using the heat map to identify both of those. And if you do stick around to the end here, I will be showing you how to get access to $150 funded accounts plus 90-day access to Trading Mastery Discord. There are only limited spots available this month, so I will be going over that, how you get access to that towards the end of this video. So getting right into it here. So starting off with the first step, one thing to watch out for identifying choppy price action ahead of time is simply looking for major support and resistance areas. Oftentimes when price reaches these key levels, you will see some consolidation and choppy price action form there, especially at resistance, as well as some of these higher time frame support levels. So just showing you a few examples here. For example, you can see this very key high time frame resistance level. So let's just say we are looking at this price action back here. You can see very key resistance level here. It was tested multiple times as support. Once lost, it was flipped into resistance here. And then you can see as it pushed back up here, we could expect most likely there will be some consolidation to happen here, which is exactly what happened here. You can see held as resistance here, and then we got a decent amount of chop here, to be honest. You can see we got about 212 days, 213 days of consolidation in this range. So simply identifying this resistance level and saying, hey, it is possible that we do get some choppy price action here. I should be aware of that. And then you would use those trends to identify, give you that confirmation of sorts. We will dive into that shortly. Second example here, I would say, is simply this resistance level as well. You can see we got a push up here, held as resistance, and we got this consolidation here before running higher. So now what I really want to dive into here is simply this price action, this most recent price action, and how you could have identified this choppy price action here. Of course, hindsight is 2020, but I'm just going to show you briefly how you could have identified this ahead of time. Not necessarily way ahead of time, but how you could have identified it sooner instead of saying, okay, now do you say, okay, price is chopping. When more likely back about here, you could have identified it simply using these 3 steps. So starting off here, basically, let's rewind this price action here real quick. So you can see, first of all, we have this all-time high. So this is a major resistance level. Most likely, we don't just go blasting straight through the all-time high. We could be aware, probably we get some consolidation here. So that's what we would be thinking. Now, what you don't want to assume is that you don't want to just get out of all of your positions, simply assuming that this all-time high is going to hold as resistance. What you want to do is you want to simply identify some trends that are holding on the way up and see what happens when price tests those trends and so on. So let's rewind the price action here and see what trends were holding on the way up and how price reacted to that. Just getting into the second step here. So if we rewind the price action back here, you can see, let's see if we can identify a trend here. So let's start off here, probably on the hourly time frame, possibly. Okay, so I'm going to say there's probably another trend that was holding as support on the way up here. So maybe the 30-minute time frame. So yeah, you can see 30-minute time frame, we have now identified a trend. Here it was a bit chopped up here, but we did reclaim it, and you can see held as support here, here as well, and we just almost tested it here. But basically, 30-minute trend is acting as support on the way up. So you can see we have just tested this all-time high level here. So we are aware that potentially some choppy price action could form. We don't have any confirmation that some choppy price action could form. Our confirmation would simply be a loss of this 30-minute trend. And a lot of times what will happen is upon losing those lower time frame trends, we often get a test of that 4-hour trend, which if we play out the price action here, let's see how this plays out. So tested 30-minute trend there, going back to the all-time high. So currently still expecting higher from here. No reason not to expect any higher. Let's play it forward once again. Tested 30-minute trend once again there, and continuing higher. And just getting some consolidation here. There we go. So now at this point, you can see we have lost this 30-minute trend. Very definitively closed below it and even gave you a bearish retest here. So now what you want to look for is probably we get this 30-minute trend to hold as resistance, and then we see continuation lower into that higher time frame trend, probably the 4-hour trend, and possibly, yeah, either we get continuation to the downside here, or we get some choppy price action waiting for that 4-hour trend to catch up. So let's see what our higher time frame trend is here at the moment. So just taking a look here, maybe 4-hour time frame. Okay, yeah, so you can see our higher time frame trend here holding as support here before we had consolidation along it here and then continuation higher. So this 4-hour trend is our higher time frame trend we want to watch. So what we're looking for here after losing this 30-minute trend is either some choppy price action to form here, waiting for this 4-hour trend to catch up, or we get continuation lower here into this 4-hour trend. So let's zoom back in here, see what happens. So there, holding as resistance once again, and now getting continuation lower. Even bearish retested it. Yeah, so you can see holding as resistance here. And let's see what happens here. Yep, once again, holding as resistance. Now, of course, it's not always going to play out exactly like this. This is a pretty ideal example here, but this is just for demonstration purposes. Not always is it going to play out perfectly like this. So let's zoom out to the 4-hour trend. Okay, so 4-hour trend is getting pretty close here. There we go. So now we are testing this 4-hour trend. So at this point, what I would look for is simply if this 4-hour trend holds, we get continuation higher from here, reclaim that 30-minute trend, and then look for continuation higher. Now, we are aware that potentially we could see some choppy price action here. We did lose that 30-minute trend, but it is cleanly downtrending along that 30-minute trend. If we see that 30-minute trend get chopped up, that's where the warning signs come on for me. And I'm like, okay, I want to scale back how aggressive I am with taking my trades. And then I have to possibly accept the fact that this 4-hour trend could also get chopped up as well. So if we zoom back in here to this 30-minute trend, let's see what happens. So 4-hour trend tested, held as support. So now we reclaim this 30-minute trend. So we are looking for continuation higher from here. Now that we tested this high time frame trend, reclaim this lower time frame trend, now we want to look for continuation higher on all time frames and continuation back into new highs. So once again, looking for it to hold as support. Okay, right there. So now you can see we once again lost it. At this point, this trend is now chopped up. I am not looking to apply it anymore because it held as resistance on the way down, cleaned here, reclaimed, and then we should have seen continuation higher from here, but we lost it. And now at this point, it's just going sideways, not really a clean trend. So this is where the warning flags come on for me. And I'm like, okay, lower time frame trend is chopped up. We should have got continuation higher from here if we were going to continue uptrending, but we did not. So now there is a possibility that this 4-hour trend could get chopped up. So this is where the warning flags come on, and I'm like, okay, tested this all-time high, probably get some consolidation here. Now we're getting some confirmations here where we see this 30-minute trend chopped up. And now let's see what happens to this 4-hour trend. Tested, held as support here. So still holding as support. And now it is starting to get a little choppy here, but still holding. So 4-hour trend is still holding, so we could still look for continuation higher. But if we zoom back into this 30-minute time frame, you can see just kind of being chopped up here. Kind of starting to get respected, but just chopped up all through this price action as well as here. Kind of chopped up here as well. So let's zoom out again. Still holding. Now, this is where we're like, okay, 4-hour trend is lost. We probably have more consolidation here. High time frame trend is chopped up. Lower time frame trend chopped up as well. And you can see, identify here as well, we have some sort of range forming. We are no longer trending. We are simply ranging. So now at this point, you would be like, okay, you would want to wait for some more trending price action to form. What you want to do here, now that a range is formed, you want to try bidding the extremes of the range. So you would want to bid most likely range lows if you're looking for a trade setup, or possibly shorting range highs if you take short setups. For me, I typically only look for long setups. So what I would be most interested in is, so I would simply look for a test of this range low. Now, the deal with this is I would not be bidding range lows and immediately looking for a breakout above range highs. I would simply be looking to take some profit off at mid-range and then range highs. And then I would also leave someone in case range highs broke out. But I would not be trading this now, looking at it as trending price action, since this is forming a range here. So within this amount of time here, let's even give it some more time here, just to actually, let's use this high here. Once this broke down here, we got this high, and then this was chopped up. So within about 1 week, 7 days time, you have identified that this could definitely be a range forming, a test of this all-time high, this major resistance level, as well as chopping up this lower time frame trend. And then this 4-hour trend is what really confirmed it, in quotes for you, confirmed. Nothing is ever 100% in trading, of course. But that 30-minute trend was your warning flag. So within 7 days, you could have seen that and been like, okay, probably I should scale back my trades here. We have a chance of this price action turning into a range and no longer trending. And then once this 4-hour trend was lost, that's really when you could actually see it. And then if I take off this replay here, you can see how much longer we went on for ranging. After that, this range ended up being about 145 days. And within the first 7 days, you could have identified that that price action could be choppy. Okay, jumping into the third one I had mentioned in step one was fib levels. So what I like to use is fib levels, or fib extensions, I should specify, for price discovery trading. So if we drew this fib extension here from this high to this low, you can see now this 1.618 fib extension becomes our first target. Now, a lot of times for these fib extension levels, the 1.618, I do notice, oftentimes acts as resistance, some pretty good resistance, and we get some consolidation, which happened here. So it's simply identifying this 1.618 fib extension and then watching lower time frames. Once those lower time frame trends got chopped up, that's when the warning flags would have been shown, and you would be like, okay, probably some more choppy price action forms here unless we can break out and continue higher from there. So yeah, that's what another thing I use, as especially in price discovery, which I have a whole nother video on price discovery if you want to watch that, and trading price discovery. But these fib extensions simply give you levels to watch once price enters price discovery, giving you those levels that could act as resistance. Yeah, just helping you to give you some take profit levels, as well as identifying where some choppy price action could form. So 1.618, 2.618, 3.618, 4.236, and so on. And like I said, I do have another video on this about trading price discovery, so you could go give that a watch if you want to watch that video as well. briefly interrupting you guys here. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, we do have some spots open currently for some funded accounts that we are giving out. We are doing $150 funded accounts as well as 90-day access to the Trading Mastery Discord. That is where I post a lot of my content as well as do live streams. We have a bunch of other traders in there and trading mentors. So if you want to apply for those funded accounts, simply join my Telegram. It'll be pinned at the top of my Telegram channel. So the link to my Telegram will be in this YouTube video description. Simply go there, go to the pinned message at the top of the channel, and that will give you the instructions on how to apply for that. If you are in the US and cannot use Bybit for those funded accounts, we do have a 7-day free trial going on right now. Link for that free trial will be in my YouTube video description as well if you guys want to try it out. If you're in there, simply, come check out the content. A lot of content in there for you guys. Back to the video. Okay, so now jumping into the heat map here. What I use for heat map is simply Trading Light. I will have that link in my description if you want to check it out. Simply looking at the liquidity levels here for Bitcoin or whatever chart you're watching. So what I like to do is simply look at any size really bigger than like 200 BTC. Again, this comes with experience. If you take a look, if you just watch the heat map, you'll start to gain some experience with it. But you can see here, when you have a lot of liquidity stacked up here. So for example, let's see here, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800. So about 1,000 BTC. I mean, yeah, all stacked up in here. Most likely, you probably will not just go blasting through all this liquidity. So what you can do is identify this liquidity here and be like, okay, we probably don't just blast right through it the first try. We'll probably get some consolidation, and that could give you some confidence with also identifying, okay, this was the previous all-time high. We have all this liquidity stacked up here. Probably don't just blast through it the first time. And simply identifying that can help you identify where this choppy price action could form and avoid getting chopped up and just assuming that, okay, we're just going to get continuation right through here, and you continue trying to swing long from higher from here. So instead, you could identify this and be like, okay, probably range here, scale back how aggressive you're trading, and then be rewarded by not over trading and giving back those profits. If we zoom back out here as well, you could see like this previous price action here. You can see, okay, we have all this liquidity stacked up here. Probably don't just blast right through it here. Probably get some consolidation. You can look at this. Probably some consolidation will form here, which is exactly what happened. Did not even end up being able to break out above it here, and got continuation lower right into all this stacked up liquidity here, and held once again before chopping, and then finally getting through that move through that liquidity there as well. Now, there are times when it does just blast straight through levels of liquidity when the market is that strong, but a lot of times it will not just get through a lot of stacked up liquidity on the first try. So that's just another good thing I like to use to identify levels that could potentially end up being choppy price action. So hopefully these 3 steps helped you how you can avoid chop and identify areas where choppy price action could form, help keep you from giving back those profits. Like I said before, the links to the Trading Light heat map and all my other links will be in the description as well. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Comment below if you have any questions. Try to get to it as well. And see you guys in the next one. Peace.